Hello, hello. First of all, thanks for joining us. We're coming off the back of the AMA, which I know some of you guys I can see spamming Kappa Face in chat have been taking part in. We'll continue with that right now. We'll take some more questions from the both the forum and the AMA thread, and then additionally, David's going to talk about the new game mode map that came out today, the new Soul Harvest map that came out today, and the other changes, and then of course the general questions that you might want to fire us into the chat. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I guess we'll begin with the patch stuff or the update stuff from today.
Yeah.
So we had a new map for Soul Harvest with kamikaze goblin things, which
Exactly.
yes, so
They're hilarious. I'm a big fan of them personally because they're so erratic in their behavior. They're more dangerous to yourself than the opponents, right? But what we wanted to do with the entire new map is to get, first of all, some variety in the Soul Harvest game mode. So you see some different aspects and a bit of a different pacing. And also, one of the things with Soul Harvest, when we brought it live, and we got feedback from you, and we looked at like numbers and metrics and things, we saw that the rounds were too long, right? It was too, not too low pace, but it simply was drawn out too long. So people started to quit, and it's like, so we wanted something that was faster, logom,
yes.
faster, but not too fast, right? And a bit more intensity. And so the original Soul Harvest map, that'll be the sort of benchmark for the time that we would like players to spend on the map. And then this other one is slightly more PvP focused, right? It's smaller. It has a higher density of NPCs. Is shorter time to action.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, Wizard Wars was never intended to be a 45-minute long grind fest anyway. So you were saying about it was too long. It's more about finding what the sweet spot is for Wizard Wars, really.
Yes.
I mean, it's such when you are in a fight, it's so much more action based, so much more intense, so much more going on than it is in a traditional MOBA where you just hit a spell, it goes on cooldown, you hit the next one, and that one goes on cooldown, and you also attack for a bit. So
exactly.
You can have games that are too long. So
yeah. No, I think the average was close to 20 minutes, which is compared to Wizard Warfare, which is like slightly under 7 minutes. 7 minutes is a good target for its very high intensity thing.
Yeah,
and we don't want to go above double that. So 12 to 15ish minutes, 15 minutes tops. That's like a good mental image. What can you do in 15 minutes? You can play one round of this. So you can do at least 3 rounds of Soul Harvest.
Yeah.
Before at the same time you do one LOL match or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, and you don't get sworn at for most of it. No. So a question that has been popping up in the AMA, and I have answered already with your advice to some extent. New game modes and this kind of thing. I didn't mention that there will be more game modes.
Yes.
We have been prototyping a new game mode.
Yes.
But I've given no details. So, I mean, new game modes, they're on the card for the future?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we are investigating and prototyping and testing things out. I can mention what we're working on as a prototype right now. And that is, I mean, right now we have Wizard Warfare, which is 8 players, very PvP focused. And then Soul Harvest, which has a more PvE aspects of it, right? It's not as competitive, or it's still very, very competitive, but there's something else you can do as well, right?
Yeah.
And we want to have something similar, but for the duel game mode, right? So the duel is extremely PvP, it's just you and your opponent, and we want to have something similar where you have a competitive thing, but you don't directly conflict. So we're looking about we're experimenting quite a bit with doing a sort of puzzle thing, or where you need to use all the offensive and defensive capabilities in the spell system, but not at another player directly.
It's indirectly, isn't it? Yeah.
It's indirect.
So you're using like environment effects, for example, or spawning NPCs on them, or
like you need to balance on a thing, and then you can you can spawn a water pushing monster for the other player on the other side who's also trying to balance, but then has to fight this water spraying thing that tries to push him off. At the same time.
It sounds like you've been watching a bit of Takeshi's Castle or Wipeout or whatever it is. You know that game where people run into foam repeatedly. Yeah.
Yes, it's that sort of thing because it can be so hilarious, especially if it's an even match, right?
Mm.
So if you are very skilled players, and you can troll the other player as well, it's perhaps even more competitive than the direct conflict you have in a duel. Right?
Yeah.
Because there's a bit of more mind game going on that you can really annoy people.
Yes. It adds another level of variables to the effect. So I mean, you have your spells, and then you have other abilities of a type, I guess. So
yes. So that's something we're experimenting with. No promises whatsoever, of course. But we're testing that sort of thing. And we will evaluate some form of a free for all, or 8-player deathmatch, or something which is a bit more. 8-player deathmatch will be extremely chaotic, right? But it might be fun.
Yes.
One thing that we don't want to do is that we don't want to bloat the game with like a huge amount of game modes, because that'll mean that the matchmaking won't. We'll spread our player base out so thin that it'll be.
That does bring me into another thing, though. I mean, people are saying about queuing for multiple game types at one go. Say, I just want to queue for a 4v4 game type.
Yep.
I mean, then we could have people choose the individual game types in a custom game setting, for example. Could that be an option for the future? Or?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. We would love to do that.
But back onto the, the free-for-all mode. People actually asked that in the AMA earlier. And, they were like, yeah, this would be a great thing to get new players on board. And I was like, they can gang up and take down the expert. I was like, in theory, that sounds great. But in practice, an expert can quite happily, hold off a newbie and just...
Yes.
So,
an expert can probably handle... It'll be like some sort of Zombie or King of the Hill or whatever. It's like... one expert versus 7 noobs.
Yeah.
That would be...
But no, I mean, I think, a free-for-all would be a blast, but it wouldn't necessarily be aimed at taking on new players.
No.
It's just another fun thing.
Yeah, I think that it would work great for a 4-player thing, actually. Because 8 players free-for-all will be extremely chaotic. So if you have 4 players, that would make more gut feeling sense.
Well, I did mention that in the MA as well. If you do want to try out an 8-player free-for-all game, just fire up a custom game, meet in the middle and go nuts, and that you can get a feel for how it would be. Trying to use a beam amongst 8 wizards to any kind of effect would be an impossibility.
No, it doesn't.
All the walls would make boulders pretty much useless. I don't know, it would be a point-blank AoE fest, I think, personally. Everyone's just going to run in and just...
Yeah, everybody will run run away and hide until everybody has enough focus to drop a meteor shower, and then meet in the middle with 8 meteor showers.
Or they'll just macho man all over the place, I guess, lightning everyone. So let's have a look to see if you had any questions pop up through the AMA. I'm seeing people talk about the Magicka 2 sneak peek that's kind of starting around now.
Yes.
So yeah, you should be able to download it now. You don't want to be playing it now because you should be watching us, but
of course.
It gives you time to download, and you can listen to our dulcet, soothing voices whilst you're watching your Steam progress bar.
And also, I mean, a little plug for that one. If you pre-order the Magicka 2, either the basic one or the deluxe edition, you'll unlock stuff in the Magicka Wizard Wars as well. So, yeah.
Yes. If people wonder why I keep just staring off into the middle distance to the right here, it's because I have a screen where I'm seeing if you have any questions coming in. But whilst we're on the subject of the Magicka 2 stuff, we will also be having a stream tomorrow night, where we'll be having some people from the office playing through Sneak Peek. It's like a ninja pigeon or something. No, Sneak Peek. we were playing through that and showing you how bad we are at immolating each other in the office. So you should join for that same time, 5 o'clock CST. So
do it.
Do you guys have anything to do with the Crusader Kings games? Quick answer: no. I love Magicka Wizard Wars and what you'll do, but what is your favourite childhood game? This is from the AMA.
Oh, childhood game. Well, from Computer game is quite easy. It's the original Elite by David Braben. Space flight sim.
That's interesting because I've just been trying to play that in between this
Yeah.
launch stuff we're doing, but the new version.
Yeah, the Dangerous.
I've installed it and finally got my joystick set up, and I'm real hyped to try that out.
Yeah. Now, it's the original Elite. I actually made Elite on it. It was, I don't know, thousands of hours of game time in that game. From a board game perspective, or like classic games, I was heavily into Drakar and Demoner. It's like a Swedish version of the Dungeons and Dragons pen and paper RPG. And I also loved Bondespelet. It's for some strange reason. It's a farmer's game. You roll dice, and there's crops to be harvested, and the game rounds take, I don't know, 4 hours.
This is like Settlers of Catan.
Yes, but you make it extremely boring instead.
Yes.
Catan is fantastic, but we didn't have Catan
No.
where I grew up on a farm, and I loved the farmer's game.
I'm trying to find out what the game was that I played, but I had an Apple II. In fact, I still have an Apple II in the attic.
Congratulations.
And I should look at that on eBay, actually. It depends if it's the right one. It's like worth a car.
Oh, brilliant.
But it's probably not the right one, knowing my luck. But anyway, I kind of inherited that from my dad, and it had an old wireframe version of Ultima on it, which I just remember starving all the time, repeatedly, over and over again. And it was just, here's a stick figure skeleton, you die, and here's a stick figure other thing, you die.
Yeah.
And that was a bunch of fun. But I think that was my first inception to video games, just me bashing away at this Apple II.
Yeah.
But I reckon the breakout moment for me was the Fallout games. I mean, the original Fallout games. I mean, I loved them, and Baldur's Gate, and I was a big Infinity Engine. Not during that. So.
Magnificent.
Yes. So yeah, that's then we have blah blah blah. See any other questions?
And also, I mean, I grew up with the Commodore VIC-20, so I had it's the precursor to the Commodore C64. So that was interesting. Lots of very crude games over there, and then the classic VIC-64 or Commodore 64 games, and then the very Swedish way, moving towards the Amiga, also staying on the Commodore, and then like switching over to PC when the first Civilization game came over, I think.
No, the Amiga was big in England as well. Actually,
Yeah.
I never had one. I like I said, I got the Apple II off my dad. And then he had a business, and when his kind of hardware had no more use, I kind of inherited that. So I started playing on 486 PCs, and went from there really. Another question: are there plans to make the default imp you spawn with stronger, like Legion Air imps that you get in Soul Harvest?
Maybe. Yes, we have of course thought about this because it would be great fun. I mean, I would personally love to be able to give it different properties, like here's my tank imp in a barrel that can take more damage, or here's my healer imp that can heal me, or really tweaking the familiars to have more of a gameplay effect. But the things we've tested with it so far, it's fun, but it's very hard to balance in a PvP setting. So absolutely, we'll love to investigate it further.
People also asked in the AMA earlier about different types of familiars.
Yeah.
Are they always going to be imps? Are we going to see like battle chickens, or I don't know,
hedgehogs? Yes,
Hedgehogs,
absolutely. Now, I mean, if we go that way, if we go that path, I would personally love to see it that we have like the imps in different outfits that have different properties, and then if you want to take it to a further extreme, yes, you have like a hedgehog.
Yeah.
Or something really, a tank warthog or something, right? That would be more fun. We will always keep them physically on the ground, though, so there won't be any flying things because it's too complex with the spell system. Right. So we'll have walking bats, not flying bats.
But surely we could have flying bats, but just give them a hitbox that reaches the floor.
it's like the physics system works in mysterious ways.
Yes,
it does.
Well, we
right?
had
So-
bugs reports about people climbing on walls, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's no, but we will have them so that they're very physically oriented in the world, and preferably on the ground level, because it's that works quite fine.
So maybe we'll have snails instead.
Battle snails.
Battle snails.
Oh.
Yes. Someone wants a mini dragon instead of an imp. We do have the cosplay imp, but apparently it doesn't count. Of course it counts. It's so
Of
cute.
course it counts. It's
Yes.
awesome.
I just want reasons to not kill my imp. They're not worth giving your enemy the focus if they get killed. Yeah, that's something we tend to see in the higher tier players. They're like they're less inclined to want to use their imp and more inclined to murder it to deny the
Yes.
opposition.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's also with yes, from the very high level perspective, we could introduce a new imp or a new familiar, like a pet rock or something that just stays in the base and doesn't do anything to prevent all the floods.
Yeah.
A pet rock, yeah, I like that. But you would actually be, as soon as you have, if you look at the metrics and see the amount of players that are actually killed by the imps, you would be surprised.
Yes.
You would be surprised. They seem very useless, and they seem like they're just in the way. But
I've seen
Actually-
plenty of people on stream getting the last hit. The imp comes and
Yes.
just goes "Meh," as they're busy warded
Yes.
against frost or whatever.
yes,
You know.
I know.
So.
So it adds this bit of extra complexity, and they're so vulnerable, right? You can
Mm.
basically look at them with a sort of just with an evil frown, and they'll
and
die.
they fall over.
Yeah. So I enjoy them for that humiliation aspect,
Mm.
actually. That if you're actually killed by this completely almost harmless imp that's mostly in the way.
Yes.
But yeah, we will investigate something like a pet rock or something that you can.
Yeah, I like the pet rock idea. That's good. I will divert from course for a minute now and show off this new gizmo we have. See if I can see in the monitor over there. Isn't that pretty? And I'll get into light now. This is from Shark in a Box, one of our community folks who you most of you probably know quite well. He's done some awesome artwork, and I have had a batch of these made to give out as prizes for certain things as yet to be disclosed. But
Things.
I figure we can start with one now. So you need to give us awesome, useful questions. It could be useful or very funny in chat, and then you might get this. So
Bring
yes, give us some stuff to talk about.
Alright.
So yeah, big thanks to Shark in a Box. I'm going to give him a bunch of these as well, just because he's so awesome. And yeah, we're really, really happy to see community get involved and sharing your talent with us. You might be musically minded, you might be good at art, you might be, I don't know, a really good cook and fancy sharing a delicious recipe for meatballs. But share stuff on our community channels. Yes.
Absolutely.
So
I can mention a couple of other things we did in the updates.
Yes, please do. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a couple of small tweaks regarding the spectator mode, right? So we made it a bit easier to navigate. We reduced the colors of the sort of the red was extremely red, so it sort of bled over into if you streamed it.
Yeah.
It was a bit unfriendly to video compression. That's fixed. Teams are now corresponding correctly, and we'll continue to do that because we are seeing more and more spectator stuff going on, and that's something we'll continue to improve. And if you have feedback you want implemented into the spectator mode, please let us know, and we'll do our very best to get it in there.
Having used it for the launch event last week, I'll have some feedback for you after the stream.
Okay.
And regarding game 1, can we have it work?
Yes, can we have it work? There's this
Yeah.
very sometimes if you tab in and out of the game, it just
Yes.
refuses to accept input.
And unfortunately, my workflow involves a lot of tabbing.
Yes.
So,
There it is.
yes. Oh, Shark in a Box has just appeared in the chat, and he missed the
Hey.
chance to see his mouse mat. That's a shame. Maybe next time you can catch us. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, we were talking.
Yeah.
I will give it another wave at the
Do
camera.
it again.
Here we go. Here comes the the mouse mat in the light, hopefully. Isn't that awesome?
It is actually.
There we go.
Looks really good.
But yes, Shark in the Box will be taking virtual autographs at the end of the stream. So we did the spectator changes. There was
A couple of minor tweaks to Magicks. Geyser makes people wet, and there's also a bit of synergy in like how and when things are projected on the ground. So you have like the correct telegraphy, so you see what's being cast.
Yeah.
And what else did we have? We had so many bug fixes that aren't
There were
really
a few
listed in the
bits and
patch
bobs
notes.
in Soul Harvest, weren't there? Did we fix the thing with the dodging towers in the end?
Yes.
Yes, we did. So no more people cheating.
No, no, play nice.
Good. Yeah.
No, so that one should be fixed.
Mhm.
And also tweaked sound levels. I mean, a lot of tweaks here and there, and a lot of, quite a lot actually, of back-end fixes that you won't ever see, but you'll find that the game feels more and hopefully less laggy as well.
Mm. But that's the nature, isn't it? I mean, it's just the little things make up to a big effect. So.
Absolutely.
Yes. Let's go back to the chat again. We have a whole bunch more stuff. How's the policy on unique gear? The last really unique thing was the Halloween occult robe. Everything else after was open to public. What? How am I supposed to distinguish that from all the poor wizards now? Okay. Paid for content, basically, I guess he's talking about. I mean, we changed the store and kind of went away from the whole pay for content thing, but are we likely to see, I don't know, more expensive, super fancy deluxe stuff in the future, which can be ground to, but of course would make more sense to buy, or are we still trying to keep things very open?
I think that for now we switched away from selling everything for like or having this mix between real currency and an in-game currency, and we want to keep it really, really simple. So we're going to keep all items as is for now, with the in-game currency, and then you can purchase the in-game currency. Then we might price things if we have really spectacular things. I know Staffan, our 3D artist, lead artist, is working on some really, really, really interesting things that we'll either put out in the store for a very high price,
Yes.
or we'll put it in the chests so there will be more fantastic things in there.
Yes.
And also regarding the chest, we'll probably have a tweak to see about the actual drop rates of things there.
So we're talking bumping, lowering, removing?
Bumping slightly.
Bumping
Yes.
slightly. Okay. Is this going to be across the board, or is this just making the multipliers have a higher effect? Or
Primarily making the multipliers have a higher effect.
Okay.
Because that is, even if it statistically is fine, it looks fine in the math, right?
it still
But
feels bad
Yeah,
when you
it
put this
feels
work in.
bloody
Yeah.
awful if you put all the work in and you don't really.
Yeah.
It is a good chance, or a significantly better chance than just doing the vanilla chest open, but no, it's not quite there. So we'll tweak that, and also we should see next Tuesday we will see some interesting things happening with the chest as well.
You know what you should do? You should have a sliding scale of 3 bars to fill out. Each one you fill gives you an extra reroll, so you can make your daily test into a pick one of 3 items. Kind of like they do with the chests in some games, where they say, these are the items you got, now choose one.
Yeah,
So,
that would be fun.
yes, this is me backseat game designing here. See what else we have here. Can the Magicka Wizard Wars robes and/or items be used in Magicka 2? We've seen some of this already with the pre-order goodies for Magicka 2. There's some crossover there. Long term, is this something we're going to see in the future? I mean, considering we have the same engines and this kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, technically, they're not really in the same art style. Right.
Yes, there
So
are some
there are
differences,
some
yeah.
differences to how it feels. So it's not like a plug and play between the different. So there is a bit of work involved in you need to create separate art assets for it. Primarily, I mean, the biggest thing is that in Wizard Wars you can see your wizard quite big, and it also has emotes and things. So we need to be very careful with the movement and the stretching and
Yeah.
And Magicka 2 has a more zoomed out camera, and also
It's a bit more toward the top as well. Or,
yes, slightly.
yeah.
So some of things definitely will. Not all of it, because that's going to take quite a while to do. But some of the things will definitely.
Cool. Where are we? See if we have any others. From a user perspective, we don't see drop weights. We're better to give more chests with less quality items than to have drop weights invisibly buffed. It could average out the same. I'm not sure quite what.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the problem with like the chest and that it feels disappointing is that you don't really know what's in there.
Yes, I mean this is something I've actually said internally a few times. Is it'd be great if we could maybe redo the UI on that a bit on that screen. So these are what you
see
can
what's
get.
in there.
Yeah,
and then like maybe put up a rotation like this is in there right now, and it'll go away.
I mean, it's not just for our veterans that know what's in there as well. It's more for our new players.
Yep.
I mean, a black box is all cool, seeing what you get out of it. But if you can say, "Oh my God, the super magical rainbow unicorn pony familiar's in there. I want that thing."
Exactly.
Then. When you've ground out your 10 games, I didn't get this time, but damn, I still want that thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely something we'll look at. And also, I mean, treasure keys, they might appear in other places as well. You might even be able to craft them, perhaps.
Crafting, that could be interesting. Yeah,
would that even be a possibility? I would never. So yes, you'd be able to do that.
Cool. Also, we mentioned briefly the stream last week from the DreamHack Studio, etc. There was some like overtime going on with one of our art team, if I remember correctly. So, what's the update with Helena's staff?
Yes. She's finalizing it today. There are so many things on top of it. So,
yes.
So actually texturing it was a bit of a
Yes. But
a bit of work. But it should be ready to deploy to be available for you next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, cool.
Yes.
And advanced things that I've seen on it, I've seen a shark's fin, I've seen a disco ball,
yes.
I've seen lemons, I've seen a slice of pizza, there's some tusk things, and
Absolutely.
my tattoo.
Yes. It's like, it's all the things, actually.
It's all the things.
All the things.
Yes.
No, so we're working on getting that out to you as soon as possible, and we'll have a quite interesting update the next Tuesday as well. So it won't be as massive as a new map or a new level for a game mode, but there will be some interesting tweaks.
But that's still cool though. I mean, we did mention when we were coming up to pre-launch that we would slow down in the update speed, but we are still giving interesting stuff for now every week.
Yes, I mean, for now we will definitely, because we have so much fun stuff, we really want to get out to you, and we really want right now to have a very high deployment phase.
Yeah.
So we can find these things that, hey, Soul Harvest the rounds were too long, right? So, okay, tweak fix. Yeah. So we can have that rapid iteration going on for, maybe not, it won't last forever, but it'll last like during the month of May. Right? And then we'll probably slow down a bit after that.
Cool. Will there be more options added to custom games? Things like more than 2 teams, infinite or no tokens, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
Or possibly even modifiers with regards to elements. So that's almost verging on the artifact system from Magicka 2 there with the last bit. But
yeah, that would be very interesting actually. Looking at like unique game rules for custom games. Absolutely, we'll investigate that. I mean, we've been toying with the idea, but as always, we're taking the little steps, putting out the core functionality first. So you have just a way to play, set up teams and play against each other, and then adding on top of it. But unique game rules, that would be great fun.
Will there be a melee mode? That would be cool. Will there be... no, sorry.
Melee mode.
Wrong question.
Might even be a magic for that.
Like a silence, perhaps. No. Will fire and cold sword specials be reworked? Currently, specials are not at all as awesome as the new weapons. I love the animation on the fire sword, but
no, the effect of it is can be improved. So, what we'll likely do is that we will not do a massive rebalancing of the whole game. It's in a pretty good spot actually. There's always tweaks and bits, and we'll take them on a case-by-case basis. But there are 2 systems, or 2 larger chunks that we'll like to investigate, and that is the weapon damage, and especially the weapon specials, right? The abilities, because they range from completely awesome to well, almost meh. Right? Try to get them a bit more in sync with each other, preferably so everything feels awesome. But
Yeah.
and also having a pass at the Magicks. So a couple of them are a bit weak and a couple of them are a bit strong. Seeing if we can just make balancing and tweaking it a bit together.
Try to remove the cookie cutter effect, so make everything useful.
Yes, and some of it is also, I mean, the more Magicks we do, the more they synergize between themselves. I mean, Geyser per se, it's tricky to land, and it's, at least for beginning players, right? And Frost Bomb is fairly useless, but those two in combination, oh, yeah.
Yes.
It is a good combination.
How's the network engineer doing?
He's doing fine.
He's doing fine. Yes,
Yes.
no regards to the family. And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we've deployed the and continuously tweaked and sort of massaged the code regarding the beams and the projectiles, and those are the two main problems we have had. That it was very difficult to actually hit people with beams and projectiles, and there we have seen significant improvements, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll continue to work to see what we can do to further improve the network stuff, but it's not as bad now as it was a while ago. It's pretty good.
Talking about the, just lost my train of thought now. Weapon specials. That's it. Are we always going to be looking at just damage stuff, or are we going to see, like, I don't know, more flavorful stuff, like maybe it gives you an emergency teleport which makes you appear anywhere on the map, or maybe the special causes your target to take X% less healing or something like this?
Yeah, because there's a couple of aspects we haven't really used in Wizard Wars yet, and that is because they're quite difficult to balance. We don't have any debuffs in the game at all. Right?
No.
And we don't have
Except
any
for fire and frost, I guess.
No, but I mean it's not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there is really no. There's the status effects. You can induce status effects on people, but we haven't touched debuffs and we haven't touched buffs on others. Right? You can just buff yourself in different ways, but doing that apply that line of thinking to other players or NPCs. That's something we can and most likely will investigate in the future as well.
That would be really cool for a support player to be able to add a third ward circle to their target.
I know.
That would be awesome.
I know, if they but then they'll need to do like a major sacrifice.
Yeah, they lose 30% of their health or whatever, I don't know, but yeah.
Exactly. So that's something that we could do. Not sure on tying it to the weapon abilities, but there's always that. And there is some mechanical things as well. We don't have any pulls. We only have pushes at the moment, right? Pushes and knockbacks, and that the player traverses forwards. So we can move the player in other directions. I mean, have a defensive weapon that just makes you, roll backwards or whatever. Or you could also have, I don't know, lasso, something that brings a target closer. That would be incredibly powerful.
I want that.
I know, you turtle! Come here!
Or a bowler where you can just root people to the spot as well.
Yes.
Would be pretty nice.
I know. So there's plenty of things that we can do there that'll have different effects. And we'll continue to do that. It's funny with the weapons because they're really, I enjoy them immensely.
Yes.
When they play.
Yes. When are we removing mines blocking lightning?
Soon, trademark.
Okay.
So that is also from the spell system. There's like two things that we want to fix or change relatively quickly, and that is the water push. That is a bit too powerful on occasions, and that is that the changes to lightning blockers has too many objects blocking the lightning. Mines as an example.
Another AMA question. What
Shoot.
can you do to make it easier for players to add friends in game? Current methods are not new player friendly. Well, we 100% agree with that.
Absolutely.
So, yes.
So we are working on it.
Yeah,
I can say that.
Yes.
So at the moment we are piggybacking on Steam's friend system. So you need to be friends in Steam to be able to play together, and it's tricky.
Yeah, I mean, overall, we want to make, the social and those kind of things much more robust, don't we? At the moment, we have you know, a basic in-round chat. We have the party chat, but maybe we add more global chat channels,
Yes.
voice chat, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yes.
Cool. Well, I guess I'll take a couple more questions if you have anything burning, and then we will disappear and go and play some of the Magicka 2 sneak peek.
Indeed.
Yeah. So feel free to. Why got Magicka 2 an English-speaking Vlad? You went to school. Yes. Oh, and when are the Escher and Nisshagen imps coming? You have the power to make this happen.
These things just happen. It's not like I asked for it. They just magically appear in the game, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
no. So it'll be. I wish we could have imps in Magicka 2, though.
Yeah.
You think you can have imps in Magicka 2? If so, then I could probably make the Nisshagen and Escher imps happen. I'll discuss that actually.
That would be fun.
Yes, that would be fun.
Yes. How serious is Magicka Wizard Wars? Is it being balanced with esports in mind? I think you've said in the past you balance for fun first, and then we let the esports, come
Yes.
from the community. But I think on the whole, we do try and make things balanced. Yeah,
Yes.
fun doesn't have to be overpowered and ridiculous. So
Nope.
everyone has access to the same spells. So no individual can be better than someone else because
Nope.
they have a better
No,
spell.
it's like inherent in the spell system and then the equipment system that you simply cannot equip or have a better build than someone else. Everybody can have access to the same things.
Mhm.
So it is extremely skill based in that you must. Well, you cast the spells on your opponent real time. That's where the skill lies.
Yeah.
And yes, we do try to balance it so that there is a couple of simple rules. There are no one-hit kills, right? It always takes at least two people or a combination of multiple spells to kill someone. And the pace of it is very high, almost extremely high actually, but it's still capped so that you cannot cast spells super hyper duper fast.
Yeah.
Right? There's a cap in how it's.
You have a
in
global
how-
cooldown of sorts.
Yes, a global cooldown of sorts, similar to a fighting game. Actually, we've taken a lot of inspiration from that, as you well know. So yes, it is actually fairly well balanced. So it can definitely be played as an esports game.
No, I actually want to pick that up in chat actually, because someone said, you can't compare serious games like LoL and Dota with Magicka. I mean, the game is as serious as you make it, really. I mean, people, before LoL was a thing, no one would have ever expected it to do what it did and be as successful as it has. I mean, it's not like these things are preordained and you say, right, I'm going to make a, multi-million concurrent game tomorrow and it's going to be done and this is how it will be. It's a factor of many, many things. And the most important thing is it's fun, it's balanced, and you give the tools for people to, do what they want to do with it. And if the community picks up, they go with it. And I also think the comparison between LoL and Dota and Wizard Wars is completely wrong. It's apples and oranges. We are more closer to, like you said, Street Fighter, fighting games. It's more about the micro and the individual management of your character rather than the meta aspects, such as, who can collect the most gold coins by hitting things last and stuff.
Yeah.
So
No, but exactly. No, so I'd say that we are more skill based. Magicka Wizard Wars is more skill based on pure skill than MOBAs per se.
No, it's down to individual personal skill. I mean, I've mentioned it before. If I'm playing LoL or Dota, which I love MOBAs, so I played tons of LoL. Dota not quite so much. I prefer the original. But anyway, if I go in as AP caster or something, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I run away or die. Maybe I will survive enough to use my Q spell again. Whereas in Wizard Wars, you can be doing something all the time. I mean, it's not just front load your damage and then get out of there. Whereas the tactical side of things is more, in a traditional MOBA, it's about the meta aspect, which we kind of introduced a bit to some respects to Soul Harvest, but we still keep a lot of the individual kind of
Yes.
element in there. So yeah, so I did actually say I would pick someone to have a mouse mat. Let me have a look for these questions and see what I like the look of.
While Lesher is doing that, I can also mention something.
Yes.
As I said previously on the forums, etc., we are testing our Paradox developed achievement system.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That means it's not achievements as Steam achievements or trophies or things like that. It is more, if you do X, you can get the result Y. So we've tried this for the first time today live with, if you play a round of Wizard Wars, you will get a 24-hour booster for your account. And that is really cool. It seems to be working just fine. So go in and try it. And you should see we don't have any fancy pop-ups saying it is now activated. So you'll get double XP on the first round you play, and then you'll see your XP bar being all gold and sparkling and nice. And these XP boosters will indeed double your XP earned for 24 hours.
Free stuff is good stuff. Gratis är gott, as they say in Sweden,
Yes.
with the less of a bad accent. So
Horrible accent, actually. So do get in there and play, because you'll have some interesting. You'll see some interesting XP boosting going on. And the most interesting thing is, of course, that we can, by doing this on the Paradox level instead of on the game level, we could connect different games, like perhaps revive 50 people in Magicka 2 and get
the revive robe thing, stick, whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a quite nice way of getting with two games in the same IP this close, releasing so close, both Magicka 2 and Wizard Wars. That sort of connection is actually something we will not only investigate but actually do.
Yes. Okay, so I'll just wrap up with a couple more points. QQQ lock, yes, we discussed that earlier. That's going to be looked at. That's silly. And someone else asked about chest stuff because they missed it earlier. Yes, more stuff will be coming to the chest.
Absolutely.
And now someone else has asked me if the portal gun behind us works. So
oh dear.
I'm going to see if I can make our streaming producer disappear. Or no, it might have worked at one time, but the batteries are dead. The portal gun.
Oh yeah, there we go.
It sounds very poorly. I think it's on its way out.
Oh,
but it does change colour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be the winning question because I'm feeling funny. So Acrylion, you for that random silly question that got me to play with a portal gun as a part of my job, you win the nice pretty mouse mat as designed by Shark in a Box here in the chat. So you can thank him accordingly.
Very good. Congratulations.
Please send us a personal message and include where we can actually send this thing to. Thanks, and I guess that's about it from us. Remember, 5 o'clock tomorrow, we'll be having a stream for Magicka 2 where we'll be playing through some of the new sneak peek stuff. And yeah, go and play Wizard Wars until then. Or play the Magicka 2 sneak peek. Yes.
Both.
At the same time.
Excellent.
And stream it, please. We want to see that. Someone will.
Someone will.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So thanks a bunch. And Acrylion, please send us those details. And you get a pretty mouse mat. So bye-bye. See you next time.
Bye-bye.